So a long time ago, I was briefly involved in this competitive battle league, and I didn't really get that many good battles out of it because, to be completely honest, most of the people involved in it, like, completely blew me out of the water. But this is one of the more interesting ones that I had. It's against a guy called Captain Crunch. And let's see. Firstly, I'm going to be leading off with a Registeel. He's going to be leading with a Gengar, and he's going to retract to that Gengar and send in Snorlax instead, probably predicting a Thunder Wave, because the Snorlax cares about being paralyzed much less than a Gengar cares about being paralyzed. Anyway, the important thing there is the Stealth Rocks going up and being a nuisance on his team. He's going to start setting up curses, and that's a little bit scary for me because I don't really want to see a Snorlax at like plus 3 or 4 attack and plus 3 or 4 defense, because it's already got massive amounts of HP and special defense, as you probably already know. So anyway, in comes Ian, and the Snorlax is going to go and use Curse again. Is that 2 or 3? I haven't been counting. I never count the number of times a Pokemon uses a setup move, because, I don't know, I'm really bad at narrating these battles. Anyway, whatever. So you're going to go and use Rock Slide, and that's not going to do a whole lot to a Skarmory, despite whatever offense boost it might have. And Ian's just going to go and use a Whirlwind, so that's going to get rid of all of those boosts, which is pretty nice. And even better, it's going to go and drag in a Charizard, which is going to wave it over the Stealth Rocks and take off half his HP. Unfortunately, I don't really want a Skarmory facing off against a Charizard, so while he's going to go and Mega Evolve, I'm going to go and bring in Latios, and that will now be Dragon and Fire typing. So you'll be taking neutral damage from Water, and you'll be taking super effective damage from Dragon. Anyway, Latios comes in, and you're going to go and use a Roost, which is going to restore you to full HP, which is a little bit scary. You're going to go and withdraw and send in somebody else, and that's going to be a Klefki, which is not really what I had in mind fighting you. Anyway, I'm going to go and use Draco Meteor, and of course it doesn't actually affect the Klefki, because Klefki is Fairy type. So I'm going to go and switch out, because I can't do anything to Klefki. So in is going to come Fire Blast the Registeel, and I can't really hurt this thing very much offensively with Registeel, but I can slow it down with, again, a Paralysis. Anyway, you probably see that coming. You're going to go and withdraw into Charizard, and that happens to be pretty good for me, because I'm going to go and use Thunder Wave, and Charizard is now paralyzed, so that makes Mega Charizard X a lot less scary than it could be. Anyway, it is time to go and use Iron Head, so it's time to start Paraflinching the Charizard, which is not a phrase you get to say every day. Sorry, Paraflinching the Charizard with a Registeel, which is not a phrase you get to say every day. Anyway, I did get one flinch off, which is pretty nice. In comes Solitude, who happens to be an Altaria. You're going to go and use Roost again, so that's going to, again, nullify the Stealth Rocks, and it's also going to nullify that little bit of damage I did with a Iron Head. And you're going to withdraw, and you're going to go switch out into the Keys guy again, Klefki, and I'm going to go and watch it take damage from Stealth Rocks. I'm going to go and Mega Evolve into, this isn't a Mega Pokemon that I've used a whole lot in Generation 6, but I do like its design, because as I think one of my other nicknames for Altaria says, it's a giant pillow. Anyway, so there goes a Dragon Dance, and that may not have been the best course of action, because Klefki has the prankster ability and can go first pretty much whenever it wants to with status moves. Anyway, there goes an Earthquake, there goes a Reflect too, which is going to raise the defense of your entire team for a couple turns, which is unfortunate. And that did a decent amount of damage, even through the Reflect. And you're going to withdraw now. I suppose that's the job well done for Klefki, unfortunately. And in comes Gengar. And Gengar, of course, is going to take damage from Stealth Rocks, because that's what the Stealth Rocks do. And unfortunately, another Earthquake is not going to be affecting you, because, well, Gengar has got Levitate for the ability. Anyway, there goes a Sludge Bomb, and that's going to take down the Altaria. I feel like I always think that Mega Altaria is more defensive than it is, just because it looks like it's defensive, because it's got all that fluff around it. Anyway, here comes Latios, and by the way, as you can see, this guy is outplaying me at like most turns. I'm going to bring in a Latios, and I'm going to try and use Psyshock and take down the Gengar, but unfortunately, Klefki also happens to resist Psyshock, although in this case, it looks like it did enough to take it down anyway, which I was actually not expecting it to. Because again, as usual, I'm narrating these battles without having watched them beforehand, so I don't really remember what happened since this battle happened like a year and a half ago. Anyway, so Thunderbolt is going to come down and rain down on the Slowbro, and it's going to do a lot of damage. You're going to go and use Scald. I'm not sure why you're going to use Scald. I think this is one of the few places in this battle where where things were turning towards my favor. Anyway, you're going to withdraw. I don't know if you're just hoping to I don't know if you were hoping to like get a burn off and take me down in like 5 turns or something like that. Anyway, here comes a Draco Meteor. Since the Klefki is down, I basically used Draco Meteor, hoping to do a big chunk of damage to whatever he switched into, and as it happens, Snorlax's massive special defense and massive HP total kind of... Yeah, that was like a quarter health, which is less than I was hoping for. Anyway, Latios is going to come back, and Polyphemus, it's the Cyclops guy from the Odyssey, what do you want? Anyway, Polyphemus is going to go and come in, and you're going to withdraw, and I don't really know why this thing was on my team, to be completely honest. We had a draft. The Battle League had a draft for Pokemon, and I think this was like one of my last choices because I just needed to fill a spot. And I decided to go with Dusknoir because I'd used it a couple times before, and it wasn't bad. It's got decent defenses. Anyway, so Zapdos is going to come in, and Zapdos is going to get rid of those Stealth Rocks, which is unfortunate. I'm going to go and use Trick, and I'm going to go and... what did I give you? I gave you the Ultra Ball because, of course, I would. Reflect is going down, which is good because I can actually do more damage to you now. What was this? Whatever it is, it didn't do a whole lot of damage. Anyway, Will-O-Wisp is going to cause some like gradual HP loss for that Zapdos, although I think it has Roost, so it really could get rid of it whenever it really wants to. Anyway, Woodstock, yeah, there you go. Woodstock is going to use Roost, probably really just to show me that I can't do anything to it, and I'm just going to go and use Pain Split, just to get a little bit of my HP back. I guess it's, to be honest, it's a good thing that it went and used Roost, because, I mean, yeah, it's a good thing that it used Roost because it filled its HP to maximum and allowed me to fill my HP to maximum. Anyway, Fire Blast is going to come in, intending to go and reset the Stealth Rocks. You're going to go and use Roost again, and that's just going to, again, the damage for you isn't really what I was focusing on, it was more the HP restoration for me. I say that I haven't watched these battles, and I have no idea what's going on, and then I make, like, assumptions about what I was thinking at, like, certain points in them. But anyway, so you're going to withdraw because apparently you can do about as much to me as I can do to you, and you're going to send in Charizard. And this situation looks awfully familiar. We're going to be setting up the Stealth Rocks once again. And we're back to square one, as it were. So, let's see, that is some HP restoration for me thanks to leftovers, and I'm almost back at full health now. And going to go and switch out into something else. Latios! Let's see if you can predict me switching into a Dragon type. You do indeed predict me switching into a Dragon type, which is unfortunate. Because having Latios alive was really kind of an important, like, an important cog in my plan, as the expression goes, and now things are slowly going to start to fall, I suppose you could say. Anyway, so I'm going to go and use Pain Split to do a little bit of damage to you, because Dusknoir doesn't have a whole lot of HP. Apparently I have about 80% of what Mega Charizard X does, and you're just going to go and use Dragon Dance, and your attack is going to raise, your speed's going to raise. Your speed raising doesn't really matter because, you're paralyzed and your speed's going to be quartered anyway, and the best you could do if you go to +6 is bring it back to normal, and you still have to contend with being paralyzed a quarter of the time. Anyway, going to go and use Shadow Sneak, and Shadow Sneak is going to go and do a decent amount of damage, well, decent considering that this isn't an offensive attacker, and that I'm not really intending it to do a lot of damage, I guess. Anyway, you're going to go and use Dragon Dance again, and I'm going to go and use Shadow Sneak again. This is basically just to waste time until something interesting happens, really. You could, if you wanted to, I'm losing HP due to Life Orb. You could, if you wanted to, use Dragon Claw, I suppose. I don't know if that's going to take it down. It took it down. And if I had theoretically lived, using Pain Split would have been pretty good, because I would have been back to decently full HP, and Charizard would have been in trouble. In any case, here comes Prima the Swallow, who is, again, a Pokemon that I use an awful lot of in competitive battling. And the Charizard goes down, and I believe we both have 4 Pokemon left at this point, although, like, one of my attackers and one of my walls is gone, so I think I'm kind of in worse shape than he is, and he has ways to get rid of the Stealth Rocks and stuff. And I just realized, isn't Droopless the thing from, like, Paper Mario 1000 Year Door? I just realized that. Anyway, so in comes Fire Blast, because Fire Blast can take whatever Gengar has to throw at me pretty nicely. Maximum special defense for values and nature and all that fun stuff. So, as you might expect, he's going to withdraw Droopless, and going to send out the Snorlax once again. And I am going to go and use, what am I going to use? Use something. Yeah, Stealth Rocks, that's nice. I'm going to go and use Iron Head, which would have done okay damage to the Gengar, because Gengar isn't a very, what's the word, like, defensive Pokemon, and that Iron Head actually did more damage to Snorlax than I expected it to. Anyway, so we're gonna go and use Iron Head again, decidedly trying to power flinch this thing to death, and see if I can get lucky, and I do indeed get the flinch on that one, and again, restoring some HP, I'm almost back to full health, again, for like the third time in this battle. You are also going to restore some HP, and I want to say, I'm going to go and use Curse. I want to say 2 more of them, or maybe another Iron Head with a Curse plus a critical hit or something would take it down. I'm not sure. Anyway, so Fluffy Not Big is paralyzed. I'm not sure why it's called up, because Snorlax is definitely not a fluffy Pokemon, but it's also not an intimidating Pokemon, like, I don't know, a Garchomp or something that you might want to call fluffy. Whatever. Anyway, so I want to say that's a quarter of your HP you have right now. You're going to withdraw Fluffy Not Big right now. And in is going to come, what are you sending out? Brodus. I have no idea what that is, probably a water type. Yes, indeed, that is a Slowbro. And Slowbro is going to take some damage from Stealth Rocks. And Iron Head should do more than 0 damage because I do have the curse up, but unfortunately that's a Rocky Helmet. I think I took more damage than he did, ultimately. I could go with my my strategy of trying to like paralyze you and flinch you, but we'll see. Again, I don't remember. There goes a Skull. Please don't burn me. It burned me. Perfect. And I'm gonna go and use Thunder Wave. So I'm basically, yeah, if you haven't noticed, I'm trying to paralyze his entire team. I think the only one that isn't paralyzed at this point is Gengar? Who else is still standing on this team? I can't remember who else is standing on this team. Anyway, so that's gonna be a burn, and let's see, this is gonna be a withdraw into somebody who can hopefully do a little bit more damage to a, whatever this is. Oh, Skarmory, I forgot I had Skarmory. You're gonna go and use Slack Off and restore HP, which is a big problem for me, because I don't like it when you're at full health. Anyway, Skarmory doesn't really care about being burned, except for the HP loss thing. I'm going to throw out some spikes, and that's going to bring in some more entry hazards. I know that he still has that Zapdos, so you could just get rid of them if he wanted to, but at this point, I'm just going to use Brave Bird. I'm trying to, I don't want to say stall and do a little bit of damage before going down, sacking off Skarmory, but I'm kind of trying to stall and do a little bit of damage before sacking off Skarmory. Anyway, so you're going to go and use Scald again, and that's definitely going to take me down. And you're not at full health, which is good. But you're also not quite as... You're not in the yellow as you were before. Anyway, in is coming Swellow, who is one of the Pokemon that I'm kind of really depending on in this battle right now. And unfortunately, Facade with full power does not manage to take this thing down. And even more unfortunately, Slowbro is not, like, paralyzed on this turn. And he manages to take me down because Swellow is a paper bag. As awesome as it is, that is an unfortunate fact of the universe. Anyway, so Fire Blast is back, except this time around, Fire Blast can't really do much thanks to being burned. You're going to go and send in Fluffy again, and now that I also have the spikes on the field, I should be doing a little bit more damage with entry hazards than I was earlier. And I'm just going to use Iron Head, and this should take the Snorlax down, and it looks like it actually did. Fluffy Not Big went down. So, who's next? I want to say Zapdos and the, what is it? The Zapdos and the thing that was just on the field. What is it? Slowbro. That's who you have left, right? And maybe someone else that I'm just forgetting. So yeah, Brodus is coming in, and for that matter, is that a Paper Mario 1000-Year Door name too? You know what, whatever. So anyway, you're gonna withdraw. I didn't even see what I did that turn because I was trying to think of what it reminded me of. I haven't actually played 1000-Year Door, full disclosure. Anyway, in comes Woodstock. Yeah, I don't know what I'm hoping to achieve right here because this thing basically will shut me down. I want to say that Fire Blast is my last remaining Pokemon, and it's burned, so that's not going to last forever. For better or for worse, you're also burned, although you have means of HP recovery with Roost, and that's going to be a forfeit. Oh, you had Gengar left too. That was your last team member. Anyway, good game, Captain Crunch. Again, unfortunately, I wasn't part of the Battle League for very long. Well, because one, my 3DS kept disconnecting from the internet in the middle of battle, and that was very annoying. And two, I was, and really still am, working on that Pokemon Shadow and Bound game, and I just really didn't have the time to commit to it. But it was still fun. I may see if that group is still active in Generation 7, if I decide to go down that route. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed that. My name is Dragonite, and I will see you all later.